Welcome back to my channel. Today, we will learn about the latest intense development in CBS's The Bold and the Beautiful, as tensions explode between Ridge and Eric Forrester, leading to a life-threatening situation that may change everything in the Forrester family. It all began inside the Forrester Creations office, where emotions reached a boiling point. Eric confronted Ridge, once again urging him to reconsider his relationship choices. Eric was adamant, Brooke is Ridge's destiny. To Eric, the bond between Brooke and Ridge has always been at the heart of their family's story. He believes that, despite their many ups and downs, Brooke and Ridge are soulmates, and they are meant to end up together. But Ridge had heard this argument too many times. Calm at first but growing visibly agitated, he reminded Eric that he has already made his choice. He loves Taylor. Their past may be complicated, but right now, Ridge believes Taylor brings peace to his life in a way Brooke never could. Ridge also made it painfully clear, he and Brooke have divorced and reunited 8 times. He doesn't want to repeat the same mistakes again. The tension escalated quickly. Eric became more forceful in his tone, demanding Ridge open his eyes before it's too late. Ridge, in turn, accused Eric of trying to control his life, refusing to see him as his own man. Heated words flew back and forth, and Ridge eventually turned away in anger, saying that his wedding with Taylor would happen soon, whether Eric approved or not. Just as Ridge was about to leave the office, he heard a loud thump behind him. Spinning around, he saw Eric lying motionless on the floor. Eric's face was pale, and his breathing was shallow. Panic surged through Ridge. He rushed to Eric's side, calling out his name, shaking him gently, desperately trying to get a response. When Eric didn't stir, Ridge grabbed his phone and called for an ambulance immediately. At the hospital, doctors moved quickly. Ridge paced back and forth in the waiting room, his heart pounding. The guilt hit him hard. He couldn't shake the thought that their fight triggered this. Had he pushed Eric too far? If anything happened to his father, he would never forgive himself. Brooke arrived at the hospital shortly after, visibly shaken. When Ridge told her what happened, her face turned pale, and she placed a hand over her mouth in disbelief. Despite everything that had happened between her and Ridge, she still deeply cared for Eric. Seeing Ridge so devastated, she stepped forward and took his hands in hers, offering the comfort he so desperately needed. "It's not your fault," Brooke whispered. "Eric's condition, it's been fragile for a while. Don't blame yourself." But Ridge couldn't let it go. He sat in the hospital room, watching the machines keeping Eric alive. His father was in a coma. A man so full of strength, vision, and love now reduced to stillness. Ridge couldn't take it. He leaned over the hospital bed and made a silent promise: if Eric woke up, he would listen. He would respect his father's wishes. Even if that meant reconsidering everything about his future with Taylor. Days passed. Eric remained unresponsive. Family and close friends visited often, each bringing memories and moments from the past, hoping their voices would reach him. Donna stayed by his side almost constantly, whispering softly to him, encouraging him to come back. Brooke returned daily as well, not only to see Eric but also to support Ridge, whose guilt was now consuming him. Taylor visited too, trying to be there for Ridge, though the atmosphere between them began to shift. Ridge became distant, not cold, but distracted. Taylor noticed. She tried to talk to him, reassure him, remind him of their upcoming wedding plans, but Ridge seemed reluctant. His mind was elsewhere, his heart torn. Meanwhile, the doctors noticed slight signs of brain activity. Eric's condition remained critical, but there were small indicators that he could come out of the coma. The family held on to hope. Ridge sat at his father's bedside more than ever now, replaying their last conversation in his mind. He remembered the anger, the accusations, the harsh words. He whispered apologies over and over, hoping Eric could somehow hear them. Then, late one night, as Ridge sat alone with Eric, something changed. Eric's fingers twitched. Ridge stood abruptly, calling for the nurse. Within minutes, the room filled with staff. Eric's eyelids fluttered. After what felt like an eternity, Eric opened his eyes. He was groggy, weak, and barely able to speak, but he was awake. News of Eric's awakening spread fast. The entire family rushed to the hospital. Ridge remained at his father's side, overwhelmed with relief. He took Eric's hand and told him, quietly but firmly, "I meant what I said. I'll do whatever you ask. Just don't leave us." Eric's recovery was slow but steady. As his strength returned, so did his determination. He made it clear he wanted Ridge to end things with Taylor. At first, Ridge hesitated. He didn't want to break anyone's heart, especially Taylor's. But the guilt from the hospital confrontation lingered. Ridge felt bound by his promise. Brooke, meanwhile, stayed on the sidelines. She didn't pressure Ridge, didn't push any agenda. But Eric noticed how gentle and supportive she had been, not just to him but to Ridge as well. Eric called Ridge into his room one afternoon and told him bluntly, "Brooke didn't ask for any of this. But she's here. Like she's always been. That's the woman who loves you for who you are, not who she wants you to be." With those words echoing in his mind, Ridge met with Taylor privately. He explained everything, his guilt, his vow to Eric, and most painfully, the fact that he no longer felt sure about their future. Taylor was devastated. She had already sensed this coming but hoped Ridge's heart would still be hers. Fighting back tears, she told him that if there was even a shred of doubt, he owed it to both of them to be honest. Ridge thanked her for understanding. They parted with respect but heavy hearts. In the following weeks, Ridge spent more time with Brooke. Not in a romantic sense, at least not yet, but rebuilding a friendship, piece by piece. They shared meals, visited Eric together, and spoke about their past with a rare honesty. Slowly, the tension between them softened. Eric continued to recover, now at home with Donna by his side. His near-death experience changed him. He became more direct, more passionate about uniting the family. He urged Ridge to live authentically and stop running from what his heart truly wanted. And while Ridge still wasn't ready to fully reunite with Brooke, he stopped denying that his feelings for her had never really gone away. Eventually, Ridge made a decision. He invited Brooke to the Forrester estate. They sat by the fireplace, the same place where so many of their stories began and ended over the years. Ridge told her that he wasn't making any promises, but he wanted to explore the possibility of them again, slowly, carefully, this time with open eyes and no illusions. Brooke didn't cry or jump into his arms. Instead, she nodded, calm and confident. "Let's take it one day at a time," she said. "And let's get it right." Meanwhile, Taylor left Los Angeles to spend time abroad. She needed space to heal and reflect. She sent Ridge a heartfelt letter, thanking him for the love they shared and wishing him happiness, whatever form it took. As months passed, Ridge and Brooke grew closer. Eric watched with pride, knowing his son was finally following his heart, not out of obligation, but out of truth. Brooke stood by Ridge through every step, and Ridge showed her the respect and loyalty that had been missing in their past attempts. For now, peace has returned to the Forrester family. But in the world of the bold and the beautiful, peace is always temporary. New threats, new romances, and old wounds will eventually resurface. But one thing is clear, the bond between Ridge and Eric has been reforged through pain, forgiveness, and love. And the connection between Ridge and Brooke may finally have a real chance, because this time, they're not chasing a fantasy. They're building something real. Next, we will dive deep into the escalating family drama on The Bold and the Beautiful, where Hope Logan is poised to deliver a heart-wrenching ultimatum to her mother, Brooke Logan, over her unwavering devotion to Ridge Forrester. This latest twist in the Forrester-Logan saga promises to shake the very foundation of their family ties, as tensions boil over with accusations, heartbreak, and impossible choices. Let's unpack this emotional roller coaster, exploring the intricate dynamics at play, the motivations behind Hope's drastic decision, and the ripple effects that could forever alter relationships in Los Angeles's most dramatic fashion dynasty. A breaking point in the Logan family. Hope Logan, portrayed with raw intensity by Annika Noel, has reached the end of her patience with her mother Brooke's seemingly blind loyalty to Ridge Forrester, played by Torsten Kay. For years, Hope has watched as Brooke, brought to life by Catherine Kelly Lang, repeatedly prioritizes her tumultuous romance with Ridge over the needs and feelings of her own children. The latest straw came when Ridge unleashed a torrent of harsh, derogatory insults at Hope, words so cutting that they left her reeling in humiliation. Yet, to Hope's dismay, Brooke continues to cling to Ridge, acting as though he is her sole source of happiness, ignoring the pain his actions inflict on her daughter. This blatant disregard has pushed Hope to a breaking point, where she feels compelled to draw a line in the sand, no longer willing to stand by as her mother's choices erode their family bond. Adding depth to this conflict, it's not just Ridge's verbal attack that stings. It's the history of betrayal and disappointment that Hope has endured. She recalls countless moments where Brooke's obsession with Ridge led to family discord, from broken promises to sidelined priorities. Now, as a mother herself, Hope is fiercely protective of her own daughter, Beth, and refuses to let her grow up in an environment tainted by the same toxic patterns she experienced. This isn't merely a clash of personalities but a desperate attempt by Hope to shield her child from a cycle of emotional neglect she knows all too well. Hope's ultimatum, family or Ridge. Determined to force a reckoning, Hope is set to confront Brooke with a stark and unyielding choice: stand by her family or continue down the path with Ridge. According to spoilers, this ultimatum isn't just a plea for attention, it's a demand for accountability. If Brooke opts to remain by Ridge's side, Hope is prepared to take an extreme measure by barring her mother from any contact with her beloved granddaughter, Beth. This isn't a decision made lightly, it's a gut-wrenching stand born from years of frustration and a fierce maternal instinct to protect her child from the chaos that Ridge represents in their lives. Spoilers hint that Hope sees this as her last resort, a way to jolt Brooke into realizing the gravity of her choices and the potential loss of her family's trust. Delving deeper into Hope's mindset, this ultimatum also reflects her own journey of self-empowerment. No longer the passive daughter willing to accept her mother's excuses, Hope is asserting her independence, demanding respect not just for herself but for the sanctity of her small family unit. The potential ban on seeing Beth is a symbolic severing of ties, a message that Brooke's romantic entanglements cannot continue to overshadow her role as a grandmother and mother. It's a bold move, fraught with emotional peril, as it risks alienating Brooke entirely, but for Hope, the stakes are too high to back down now. The internet reacts with passion and critique. As news of this dramatic showdown spreads, the online community has erupted with a flurry of opinions, dissecting every angle of this mother-daughter conflict. Fans of The Bold and the Beautiful have taken to social media and forums, expressing a mix of support and criticism for Hope's hardline stance. One viewer poignantly noted that Hope's actions mirror a desperate attempt to break a generational cycle of unhealthy romantic dependencies, pointing out how Hope herself once chased after men like Liam Spencer in ways reminiscent of Brooke's pursuit of Ridge. This commenter highlighted the irony of Brooke encouraging Hope's past romantic missteps while now facing criticism for her own. Other fans have offered more nuanced takes, with one suggesting that while they understand Hope's frustration, completely cutting Brooke out of her life might be too drastic. Instead, they propose Hope establish boundaries by moving out of Brooke's orbit, perhaps finding a new home where Ridge's influence isn't welcome. Another fan expressed disappointment in Ridge, arguing that if he had any decency, he would take the initiative to mend fences with Hope directly, without Brooke acting as a mediator. Meanwhile, a particularly frustrated viewer brought up Brooke's son Rick, noting his long-standing hatred for Ridge and questioning why his perspective has been absent from recent storylines, suggesting his return could add another layer of complexity to this feud. Further fueling the debate, some fans have pointed out the lack of support for a Brooke-Ridge reunion among the broader family circle. Beyond Brooke's sisters and Eric Forrester, few seem to champion their volatile relationship, a fact that many believe should serve as a wake-up call for Brooke. One commenter mused that this isolation and support might reflect a deeper truth about the unsustainable nature of Ridge, as the couple is often dubbed, hinting that Hope's ultimatum could be the catalyst for a much-needed reckoning in Brooke's romantic life. The broader implications for Forrester dynamics. Beyond the personal stakes, Hope's ultimatum carries significant implications for the larger Forrester family and the company that bears their name. With ongoing power struggles at Forrester Creations evidenced by recent coups and betrayals involving Hope, Carter Walton, and others, Brooke's decision could further fracture alliances within the fashion empire. If she chooses Ridge, aligning herself with his vision for the company, it might deepen the rift with Hope, who has already faced professional humiliation and loss at Forrester. Conversely, siding with Hope could strain her relationship with Ridge, potentially impacting her influence within the business and her standing among other family members like Steffi and Eric. Moreover, this conflict underscores a recurring theme in The Bold and the Beautiful, the intersection of personal relationships and corporate power. Hope's past actions, including her controversial takeover attempt with Carter, have already painted her as a divisive figure at Forrester Creations. Her ultimatum to Brooke might be seen by some as another power play, an attempt to isolate Ridge emotionally and strategically. For Brooke, caught between her daughter's demands and her love for Ridge, the choice is not just about family loyalty but also about navigating the treacherous waters of legacy and control at Forrester, a balancing act that could define her future in both spheres. Next, we will learn about the fascinating journey of Lawrence St. Victor, a beloved star of The Bold and the Beautiful, as he balances the whirlwind pace of soap opera life with the creative depths of filmmaking. Known for his captivating portrayal of Carter Walton on the long-running CBS daytime drama, St. Victor has recently expanded his horizons with a new movie, The Accused, streaming on BET+. In this in-depth piece, we'll explore his insights into the contrasting worlds of soap operas and film production, uncovering the grit, passion, and imagination behind his multifaceted career. Buckle up as we dive into the life of an actor who seems to thrive on barely getting any sleep, juggling acting, writing, and exploring new creative territories. Let's start with the sheer intensity of St. Victor's daily grind. Fans of The Bold and the Beautiful know that soap operas operate on a relentless schedule, often leaving little room for error or downtime. St. Victor, who has been a staple on the show for over a decade, recently spilled the beans on just how demanding this world can be during an engaging interview with recording artist April Diamond, shared on her vibrant Instagram page. With a caption that teased, "Meet at Bold and Beautiful star Lawrence St. Victor." 13 years and counting, sharing inspiring tales of his journey and his latest project, The Accused, on at Bet Plus. The conversation revealed the actor's awe-inspiring dedication. Beyond his on-screen role, where he's currently entangled in a gripping front-burner storyline, St. Victor also contributes as a scriptwriter for the show. This dual role means he's not just memorizing lines but crafting the very narratives that keep viewers glued to their screens. Add to that his recent foray into filmmaking, and it's clear this man operates on a level of energy most can only dream of. Imagine the late-night brainstorming sessions, the early morning calls to set, and the constant shift between creative hats. It's a balancing act worthy of a standing ovation. Now, let's zoom in on the stark contrast between the soap opera machine and the deliberate artistry of movie making, a dichotomy St. Victor articulated with vivid clarity. On The Bold and the Beautiful, the pace is nothing short of frenetic. Picture this: the cast and crew churn out 2 full episodes every single day, which translates to a staggering 100 script pages. That's an avalanche of dialogue and drama packed into mere hours, leaving little room for experimentation or pause. St. Victor described this environment as running and gunning, a high-speed relay where precision and quick thinking are non-negotiable. Compare this to the world of single-camera film shoots, like the one for The Accused, and it's like stepping into a different universe. Here, the process slows down, allowing for nuanced takes and meticulous crafting of each scene. For St. Victor, this shift was a breath of fresh air, a chance to stretch his creative muscles in ways the soap opera format seldom allows. It's as if he swapped a sprint for a thoughtful stroll, savoring every step of the journey. Diving deeper into his experience with The Accused, St. Victor revealed how this project became a playground for his imagination. Playing the role of Lance Branson, a detective with layers of complexity, he didn't just step into a character, he helped shape him from the ground up. This creative freedom was a stark departure from the structured roles on B&B. To bring Lance to life, St. Victor embarked on a cross-country journey from the sunny studios of Los Angeles to the bustling streets of New York, where filming took place. This wasn't just a physical trip but a mental odyssey, as he spent days immersed in the script, sketching out the contours of Lance's world in his mind. He described this process as a delightful escape, where he could explore the unspoken nuances of his character, perhaps imagining Lance's late-night stakeouts, the weight of unsolved cases, or the quiet determination in his stride. Unlike the dialogue-heavy scenes of soap operas, where every moment is filled with conversation, the film offered silent spaces to convey emotion through action and expression. This allowed St. Victor to research the intricacies of detective work, from body language to procedural grit, adding authenticity to his portrayal. It's a testament to how much an actor can grow when given the time to breathe life into a role.